Greetings, YouTube. Beautiful mind here. We have this question from College Algebra. This question says, determine whether the equation is a conditional equation, an identity, or a contradiction, and then give the solution set. Okay. So let's work this one out. I'm going to open up my paper like this. All right. And let's do it like that. Okay. So I like to start with a copy of the original. Let's see. So I can go 14. I don't like how thick that is. We're going to say 14. Oh, no, that's acting up. Times v plus 2 minus 2v. I'm going to say equals 3 times 4v plus 3 minus 18. Right? Okay. So this one is going to be chock full of the main two properties that we introduced the first day of the addition property of equality and the multiplication property of equality. As we work through these, I usually like to do a vertical bar so I can be clear. It makes it easier to line up my equal sign. Okay, so I'm just using that basically, addition property of equality says we can add the same thing to both sides of the equal sign and preserve equality. And the multiplication property of equality says that we can multiply both sides of the equal sign by the same non-zero number and preserve equality, right? So first thing I want to do on either side, here, if we start on the left-hand side, I notice that we have multiplication over addition. So we can distribute this 14. And on the right, we also have another multiplication, so we can distribute this 3. That 3 over addition. So the first thing that we did was distribute. Okay. So then if we do that, I'm going to bring down my equal sign. We distribute the 14. We're going to get 14v plus, 28 minus 2v. Okay. And then on the right-hand side, if we distribute, 3 times 4 is 12v plus 9 minus 18. Okay. So then on either side, the next thing we want to do is combine like terms. So we want to combine, get a little bit more space. Let's go like here's fine. We want to combine like terms. Again, typically terms are things that we add and subtract. Factors are things that we multiply and divide. Okay. So let's combine like terms. On the left-hand side, we have this 14v that we can combine with this 2v. So 14 minus 2 should give us 12v. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. We have a 12v plus 28. Okay. On the right-hand side, our like terms are this 9 and this 18. Okay. So that means the 12v just comes down. 9 plus negative 18 is negative 9. Okay. So now, at this point, we want to isolate our variable. So we're gonna isolate our variable. Again, this is where I suggest to move the variable first. So we're going to use the additive property of equality. So we're going to isolate the variable. I'm just going to label it as isolate the variable. So let's get the variable by itself. So we're going to do this, in this case, by subtracting 12v on both sides. And again, I suggest to move the variable first because sometimes they cancel, as we're about to find out, and that has a meaning, right? So then we see that the variable cancels. And honestly, we can go ahead and add 9 to both sides. So I'm just going to go ahead. We don't really have to do this, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm also going to kind of skip a quick step. What is that? 37. So then we get 37 equals 0. I was going to do it, but I changed my mind. So notice that this is a false statement. 37 is not equal to 0. This is false, all right? So because this is false, Because this is false, this is an example of a contradiction. So I think in class we made a statement that if the variables cancel and we finish with a false statement, that's an example of a contradiction. If the variables cancel and we finish with a true statement, that's an example of an identity. And if we finish with something like x equals 2 or x equals 7 or something of that nature, then that's what we call a conditional equation. Okay? And on that note, we are going to end this session here. And from one beautiful mind to another, enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.